Hello. So I'm going to introduce something called minimal pairs. They are words that rhyme and are very similar in nature besides the beginning sound. And the beginning sounds are going to be two sounds that are often interchanged when our kiddos are speaking. For example, run and one are rhyming words. They end the same, but we have the R and the W. So often errors for R, specifically in the beginning of a word, is a W, right? I saw the wat, not the rat. So minimal pairs are two words that rhyme. You put them together and you can alternate them. Run, one, run, one, run, one. They should be able to see the difference, but you want them to also hear the difference. Because if they're not hearing the difference between run and one, they're gonna have a very hard time fixing that in their own production because they're probably not hearing that they're saying anything incorrectly. So I will send a list of these minimal pairs. There is something called maximal pairs, but we're not going to touch base on that. That's something I would have to do a little bit more research on. Right before we were closed, I took a course on that, and they suggested that will also help with generalization, but I would have to do a little bit more digging for myself in order to give that information to you. Excuse me. So another common minimal pair would be W and L, because again, a lot of our kiddos say, I like it. I know my own 4-year-old, I'm constantly on him for that, and he doesn't listen as well as your own kiddos do to me because, they're your kids. So, a common error for L is W and for R is W. So those are often two rhyming words that we have back to back, oftentimes with a picture that I'm not able to supply to you, but a picture so they can see it, and they're hearing it. So it's just something that they can listen to, just read it to them, or you can read it to them and then they can practice in a mirror or on video. On video is good because then they can hear it and see it, and they're seeing themselves say one, 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 if they're saying the W for R. And then they're going, oh, there was no difference there. I was still rounding my lips. Or if they're saying white, 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 instead of white and light. So they're hearing and seeing. We want to get all the modalities. We want to be able to hear it, see it, feel it. We can't touch sounds and we can't taste them or smell them. So we got all the modalities that we can involved. So I will send a list home of a list of words that are rhyming words, minimal pairs, and then just take some time if you have time to read these to your kiddos. Maybe have them practice them in a mirror or in your phone or iPad or Chrome. Well, I don't know if you can do it on Chromebook, but iPad. And then that way they're seeing it and they're hearing it at the same time. Any type of bombardment, whether it be auditory or visual, is great. I had a program on my computer in which they were able to pick that was said correctly, that was said incorrectly. It was a list of kiddos, just random kids. It was from a college or a university where they just had recorded kids over time saying different R's or L's, and I wasn't able to access that at school anymore. I might be able to find the link to send you, I'm hoping, because kids often know when I'm trying to say the wrong sound, so it's not the best practice, but this was a good practice for them to hear other kids with their same intonation and voice sounding, to get a big difference between those sounds. So I'm going to send you the list. It's just something you can read. If you want to look up pictures, feel free. You do not have to. I do not want to give you any more work than you already have. This is a hard time for everybody. We're just doing the best we can. If you have any questions, please let me know.